questions that I have for you today, Kathy Campbell.
Only two.
Only two. One is, if I may, you you said that you had some drinks and they were just interesting drinks, and my question is why?
Because it's Wednesday.
What does that mean?
That means that my daughter has a dance class that is 90 minutes, and it's the dance class where all three of the dance teams are together. And so we don't sit in the studio with them because there's about a billion, okay, not actually, but closer to like 40 or 50 girls like going through their team technique. So they're doing a lot of conditioning, a lot of like technical work and that sort of thing. So first off, it's boring. Second, there are way too many people in that room. And thirdly, I don't need to sit there. So myself and several other of the dance moms go to the local brewery and we have some snacks and ciders usually. And the cider was on the higher percentage level.
Yeah, and I have no idea what that means. You sent me a percentage, and I'm like, is that high? I think it's high. I know that a double shot of whiskey is high, relative to my own experiences, but it sounds like you had a good evening.
It's been good so far, which is great. I also finally went to the doctor for my hip and back. And so I have a referral for some physical therapy. So hopefully my hip can get fixed.
Oh, yay.
So that's also good.
Oh, that makes me so happy. All right. Yay. Second question. We have a list of conversation topics for future shows, and I really enjoy looking at it. And usually, we usually don't plan out the show too far in advance, but for scheduling issues, you're like, what's the conversation going to be? And I go into the happy little document, and the very last bullet point, and I quote, that one time we had a murder mystery party and had to kill my dad and have him come back as the master's bastard brother so he could finish cooking, and we had to have his cook character be having an affair with the mistress because they couldn't not be together. And my question for regarding that is, what the fuck?
Okay, so first off, this conversation, like, this did not come out of nowhere. We were having a text conversation about something about our parents, whatnot, and how much, like both in a random state of affairs, both of our parents are still married to each other. I mean, not our, you know what I mean, listener.
Oh,
I don't need to explain that.
that is correct. They're not in a not triangle, quadrant, square, something square. Now I'm having a drink of my signature Diet Coke and Vodka. But yes, our parents are still married.
Yes. And I made a comment on something about the fact that we had a murder mystery party, and but let's start. It doesn't matter where the story came from. I just put that in the notes. And so now we're going to get to it because that is how this is going to work right now, apparently. So let's see, it was 6 or 7 years ago. Actually, I have the spreadsheet for this. 2013.
What? Okay. Is the spreadsheet going to be part of the story? Because
I mean, kind of, because the spreadsheet is very important. So we wrote this murder mystery party.
Oh, my.
And by we, I mean the friend that lived with us at the time to take care of Avi while I was working. She's a writer, and so she did a lot of the writing herself. But I helped contribute based off of the attendees, and kind of helped create characters, and then she did the actual plot storyline. So I have a spreadsheet now in my possession with 24 people that attended. And we did a murder mystery kind of along the same timeline of like Downton Abbey-esque.
Ooh.
And so we had an upstairs and downstairs. We had you know, the highborn people.
Oh, the riches and the poors is what you mean by the upstairs and the downstairs. Okay, sorry.
Yes. We also had like a reporter. That was my mother-in-law was the reporter, and basically everyone came in costume and were acting, and it was amazing. I had some friends come from California come up, came down from Washington. It was fantastic. And so the whole storyline was obviously someone needs to die because it's a murder mystery. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
In order to have someone die, we were like, well, I guess, we can have Dad because that, he's kind of the primary character of what brings everybody together. And if we have my dad die, then he can go cook too, because he loves cooking so much. He loves cooking for big events. He loves like cooking for the parties. But then we had to figure out a storyline for him, because obviously he looks exactly like the master. And my mom and him, like, they're constantly like having the small little touches and looks and words that people that have been married for a long time always do. So we were like, well, he's obviously having an affair with the mistress.
And who was the mistress?
My mom.
Oh, a parental affair, even. Oh my God, Kathy, this is so stupid in the best way possible.
Really into the extravaganceness of it. One of my friends, he came as a French comte, and would only speak in French to his boyfriend / manservant valet, who ended up being like a major bad guy. I mean, it was fantastic. It was so good, and it was so much fun. Everyone had their little script, their story that was emailed out a couple weeks beforehand so that they could work kind of on their character to figure out who killed my dad.
I love this so much. So I'm coming from the place of never having attended a murder mystery party or even like a theme party. For that matter, not many parties in general. So, was this your first murder mystery, or was it just because your friend was a fantastic writer? Like,
it kind of was like brought up in a conversation, and then we were like, okay, let's do it. And the key point, listeners, if you're going to plan an event like this, everyone has to want to be there.
Oh, heck yeah.
You cannot have anyone that's iffy or doesn't want to play. Ryan came, like, he attended, but he didn't really participate, of course, but he was there. We have pictures. I had another friend of mine who played the chauffeur also took pictures throughout the night, so we have photos of the whole event. And just going in full force to have so much fun and have that be the goal means, like, it doesn't even matter that we really didn't have a plan for the end. Like, we knew who was gonna kill, but we didn't really like plan it out, that part of it very well. But it was fine because nobody cares because everyone had an amazing time.
I'm just realizing that murder mystery parties are like one shot RPGs, but for adults. And wait,
dice rolling.
Yeah, it's just so, man. Now I want to. Oh God, people should commission you to create murder mysteries. But have them like tech based, and it's like, okay, who killed Tim Cook? And everybody has an Apple executive role, and ooh, if you were an Apple executive, who would you be? Quick diversion.
Ooh, probably the one that they pulled in to run retail and gave a lot of money and then left. That would probably be me.
You would be like, all right, here's these pretty things. All right, I'm out. Back to fashion.
Yep, I collect my money because nobody's going to listen to what I'm going to do or say anyways, and then leave.
Oh, is that the like take? I haven't been on Twitter. I
don't know. I don't know. That was kind of an essence that I got. That was kind of like a feeling that I don't know. Because I have a lot of friends that still work in Apple retail. And so talking to them and like decisions that were made or like choices that were made in the stores, it like things kept changing and seemingly without like purpose almost. So they're like, let's try this, let's try that type of a thing. So it makes me wonder how much like actual control versus, oh, hey, we should try this. Oh, hey, we should try that. Or, executive number A says, hey, we should try this. And then executive B is like, no, let's try this. That didn't work last month. Let's try a new thing.
I also think there was an executive C being like, we really should hire a woman who is good on stage. And that just...
Yeah.
I mean, we were all thinking it. Everyone was like, "Oh, Apple brought a woman on stage. Oh my God!" And it's like, she is amazing. Through like a weird twist of events, I've actually met her, and she's like a goddess and wonderful from the 1 minute I talked to her. But they've gotten better at like putting women on stage who are like actual engineers, not to demean her role or the role of retail whatsoever, but like women who work on a product, just like she worked on the stores, they're actually on stage now. So yay, but man.
Well, and that's awesome. And she has this massive experience with Burberry and like all of these things. The problem is I don't know how much like actual freedom she was given. Whereas there was an episode of a podcast that I listened to where they talked to the first Apple retail creator person, where they pulled him from like Macy's or whatever. What was his name?
I think he was pulled from Sears. Gosh.
That's right, from Sears, yeah. And was given like this free range to create. I mean, they had warehouses where they had built like practice structures and like changed the heights of the counters and like all of these things that were very particular and very much what's Steve Jobs was obviously like involved in things. And I don't know how much freedom the retail team has to do these changes, but also I'm fairly certain that they're not getting feedback from the actual people working in retail.
I've heard that many times. Yep.
Because they would not make these choices. Yeah. There are things that they would not make. And just so I worked there less than a year.
What?
And in that, have we not talked about this?
No. Okay. I apologize. Please finish your story. But this is a different. Next week, I've got some more questions. Oh boy. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So in the less than a year that I worked there was like the front of house part. So I sucked at the sales or whatever they called that role. I sucked at that. Do not have me try and sell Apple Care. I'm gonna suck. However, I killed it the couple times that they had a position where you would have people come in and they'd like to help direct them because of course there's no signs, there's no lines. I worked there during the time that the app actually came around. So the actual Apple Store app where you could go and like pick stuff up and buy it all on the phone and leave.
The one that helps me inadvertently, mistakenly steal things, like at least twice at this point. Yeah, I'm sorry, Apple. I really am.
So they but at certain points they had different roles for that welcoming position, and I killed it until they changed their mind again and removed that role and like did other things. Like if the staff that's working in the store doesn't know where to send somebody to get more information, how can you expect the customers to understand this?
Yeah.
It's just like and that was 9 years ago.
It's been that long since it's been a shit show. Wow. Wow. Wait, it can't. No, because how old is the iPhone? 10, 11?
8. So it was, sorry, I started in 2011. So 8 years.
Okay. Oh, yeah. It has been a shit show for that long. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking, obviously, because we are a bunch of Apple nerds and we hang out and talk to a bunch of Apple nerds. Mm-hmm. That's been like the topic of discussion today. And I was talking to our buddy Matthew Casanelli of Supercomputer, which is a show you should listen to. Mm-hmm. I can plug things now.
Yes, you can.
And I was surprised that everybody was talking about it, and then I'm like, oh, I think like one, it was unexpected. I forget what I said. Like one, it seemed unexpected. Two, like it was a woman that arguably the first woman since Steve Jobs was still alive that people could put a name and a face to. And three, it seemed like the people who worked for her really loved her despite the retail team being constantly unhappy, which is kind of what you were saying, like, I think speaks to sort of the agency of what was going on. And this is all like headcanon. Like I truly don't know. Like my friends,
no idea.
Yeah.
No clue what
literally
the actual truth is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know that all the people who I know work in Apple retail are incredibly like wonderful hard workers, which is not to say all Apple retail people are, because a lot of them are big old dickholes. But the people who really care, like the frustration I see with them, especially people I know who like they basically got out of high school, became a genius, and they're still working there. Like it pains them because while Apple has this idea of like what a boutique experience is or whatever, I mean I remember the first Apple store I went to. I hate to glamorize it, but oh my god, it was like one of the top 10 experiences of my life. Holy shit. And it used to be like this huge thing of like, oh my god, we're going to the Apple store, and it was great because it was, you know, it was like people going to CompuServe. That's not a thing. Whatever computer stores existed back before Apple happened.
CompUSA, I think.
Maybe. Oh, that was a thing. Like the better or like Radio Shack, even longer, like even further back in the day, where it was like, yeah, this is the parts you can get to tinker with. Right. And like, admittedly, I was a child basically in a very expensive Toys R Us with much better lighting. But now I dread going to the Apple store because like yeah, and I was saying this earlier, a lot of times I will pre-order something, and then I get to and I get a little pop-up on my phone like, hey, your thing's ready to be picked up. And so I go there, and not like right away. I understand that like right away might be too much to ask for to like immediately
Yeah.
get the thing. But there have been at least 3 times where it has taken so long that I have instead just bought the product and then come back later to pick up the product that I bought and then returned it. And I know that's like a super privileged thing to do, but oh my god, when you're waiting like an hour and a half for
Right.
a cable, like a USB-C cable, and they're right over there, and I'm like, they're everybody. You just keep being passed around as if you have a Genius Bar point. Well, now it's not a Genius
Right.
Bar; it's a Genius table, wherever the fuck you want to sit. Type there wherever they tell you to sit, and oh man, what I like many have broken an iPhone screen, and when oh my god, luckily this has only happened once since they completely did away with the Genius Bar. But you know, you're without your phone and you're waiting around, and suddenly a guy comes out and he's like, broken phone people, here, here. And then he's literally just shouting out names and then handing out
Right.
fixed phones to people. And I'm like, what?
That is, yeah, that, no, no.
Yeah, a lot
Well,
of
like when the new iPad came out, I didn't pre-order it, which is fine. I waited a couple days and I ordered one and went and I picked it up in the store because I was already going to be out of town because of course I live from far away from things. And I had to go in, and first off, I had to talk to like 3 different people to even figure out where to check in to stand in line
yep,
to get the pickup.
yep.
And I'm like, this, no, because nobody knew what the heck was going on. The people that worked there didn't know what was going on, and the people picking up really didn't know what was going on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I do not understand how, because I'm sure it's not just in my store. I can guarantee
Oh,
it.
no, no, no. As someone who has literally been to Apple stores around the world in 3 different continents,
Right.
it has not changed that much in the past 5 years.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
it's been downhill.
And like that's fine, but why are they not utilizing all of the information from these people that are in the game? Like they're doing this daily.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are there every day, 6 days a week for multiple hours. They're living it. Why
Mm-hmm.
not actually
Mm-hmm.
listen to them?
Yep. And that's and I hear the same thing from pretty much everybody else in retail. That's just how corporations work. But Apple prides itself on, you know, it just works. Their stores just don't work anymore. like
No, they really don't.
it's the fact that now going to buy something or pick something up, which is a premium product and it's super expensive for some people. This is the only like I know folks where this is the highlight of their year where they're going to get their new phone, or on the opposite side, this is like one of the most stressful days of their life because their phone is
Right.
broken or they think they've lost their data. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like these are
Well, and
all problems. Like my partner works in retail and he has gone through all of this stuff and he's never worked at Apple, but like hearing the war stories, it used to be friends would be like, yep, it's not like that at an Apple store. And now it's like, oh man, it's even
it's
worse
so
over here.
like that. Yeah. And it's so sad because it really there are some things that you can do, but like I won't even go to a store unless I absolutely have to now because I
Mm-hmm.
don't even know that, like I used to love to go to see my friends because there were some awesome people there. Like they taught you during training, it's harder to get a job at Apple retail than it is to get into an Ivy League school, something with the numbers. Like that's something that they would constantly tell you, is how like the types of people that they hire are very different than whatever. And so you would come into this like, oh yeah, I'm doing an amazing thing. I'm working with these other incredible people. And I still have some of them in my life, and I'm so happy that they're there, that they exist, that I can interact, hang out with them. But I sure am glad that it's not under that roof anymore.
Yeah.
And I worked there at the Pioneer Place store, which was down in the basement, and it was so stinky and so full all the time.
Oh my.
We had one of the highest revenue per square feet, because it was pretty much right off of the MAX. So a lot of the international buyers, shall we say, would fly into Oregon where there's no sales tax and come to our store and pick
that's
up
totally me. I've done that.
Yeah.
I've done that. Sorry.
Yeah. But you're not buying, the limit of iPhones, unlocked iPhones that you have. Yeah. So like it was always busy. It was always smelly. It like ventilation sucked, but and of course I left a year before they opened up the nice store, which is fine.
I mean, the store is very nice.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
And
it's pretty.
I really want, I think we have a couple buddies who work at Apple and listen to this, and I feel like we are saying this, but I just want to underscore that in fact, I've had better interactions with Apple Store employees than before my experience at an Apple Store. Or I don't know how to. So the people that I've interacted with in Apple retail are so pleasant and so patient, and it didn't. You used to like have to like brace yourself for a surly genius, and like any computer store, and they do like I feel like a lot of people really really care, and I mean it was the Thursday. Oh no, it was the Friday before PodCon. And I ordered, I don't know the last time I was this excited for an Apple product. I went to pick up my Apple battery case, was really rolling the dice in terms of if I was going to make my flight or not, because I got there right as the store opened, and immediately, and I had pre-ordered it, and immediately the guy was like, oh, what is this? He did not know what the product was or that it existed. And I do not
Sounds about right.
fault him for that. Like I was like, no, it's a thing, and like here's my order number, and he's like, oh, that's a pre-order number. I have to get like this other again. Wonderful human being, not his fault. And then he's like, oh man, this exists. I'm gonna oh shit, I'm gonna go buy one. And like there's that enthusiasm for Apple products and for giving the customer a good experience. And I also think they've gotten better at knowing when someone doesn't want to talk to them. If perhaps you're somebody that doesn't like to make eye contact and is very strange and just wants to get in and out of there as soon as possible, like they're better at sort of abandoning the script of like, so where do you work, and like
right.
And when I have been able to act like a normal human being, like they're great. Like gosh, they're just. I don't know. I don't like. I hate the Ivy School analogy because it's more. It makes it sound like only like people with traditionally like how we quantify intelligence, like high intelligence folks work there. But I don't know. It's just people who care, and I wish.
Yeah.
That I have no doubt that the people who are their bosses care just as much. They just don't seem to agree on what they should care about.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
This was supposed to be an episode where you talk.
I did talk.
Oh boy.
I told my story.
Oh, well this what I called a short diversion was, who we would be as an Apple executive. Who do you think I would be, past or present?
I mean, default, like, you'd be Steve.
Oh no, what the fuck you talking about? No.
Only because I can't think of any other actual executives.
Oh.
So hold on.
there is a correct answer, and if you know the answer, tweet at me now, and I'm just gonna do the Jeopardy song. Do 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 do. I think I just sang on a podcast, and I've had 3 sips of my drink. Okay, so now that you've tweeted at me,
sing on a podcast.
Oh boy, I believe, and this may be grandiose of me, I think I would be Scott Forstall. Because I am loyal to a fault. I tend to be very set in my ways. And I also would love, after I've been fired, to just be like, well, fuck y'all, and go produce Broadway musicals. Especially Fun Home, which is a musical based on a graphic novel by if people don't know the Bechdel test, Danielle Bechdel, Alice Bechdel, she created she had a comic called Dykes to Watch Out For. It's great, and she wrote a memoir as a comic called Fun Home, and then it became a musical, and it's super gay. And Scott Forstall was like, I like this, I've got a shit ton of money, and he co-produced it, but was basically like, I love musicals, I'm gonna be hands off because you know what you're doing. And he's and he does it with his wife, and like that is so I feel like I would be Scott Forstall. That's all I got.
100%. A-okay. That totally works for me.
Also, he wears like nearly the same thing every day, and like has had nearly the same haircut for the past decade. And I like it. It's funny because he's the kind of guy who's clearly trying to like shake up his wardrobe, but doesn't really want to. And I'm like, yep, I feel you, man. Like,
yeah.
No, I'm wearing.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm wearing a different pattern navy button down today. Come on. I don't know why people don't like my navy. That's not true. Everyone likes my navy button downs.
No, everyone. I think you think that people just don't like it because you feel this obligation to wear different clothing when really, like, nobody cares.
It's more.
I mean, they care, but not really.
That's the thing. Whenever
wear whatever you want.
For sure. And upon like 30 seconds of reflection, I realized that it is more like whenever someone comments on anything about me, even in a complimentary way, I immediately think that I've done something wrong because I'm like, why have you noticed this? For example, my very, very, very long hair, which most people wouldn't consider very long, but I feel like I've become a skater boy. And oh, have you seen it, Kathy? It's rough.
See you later, boy. No, I haven't seen it lately.
Oh man, it's on my stories. I think I even put it in close friends because it's just I'm a hat wearer now because
yeah, I haven't been on Instagram in a couple of days other than to post my good morning photos.
Oh, I was gonna say I saw some cats. What?
Yes.
That's
Icarus
so
has
selfless.
been hardcore, like, loving on me lately.
Aww.
And it's very delightful.
That's so great. Do you think there's any reason, like, because you haven't been feeling well? Can you, like, sense that stuff?
I mean, I don't know if he's smart enough necessarily to sense that stuff. It's been more of I feel like we've been working on his anxiety a bit more. And so he's like been interacting and playing with us a bit more, which I think has helped him make adjustments. Yeah. Still peeing on stuff, but that's fine.
I apologize. Somebody is messaging me on Skype. I won't say their name. Or can you bleep it?
Yeah. Yeah, I can believe it.
Mobius? Is this a Matrix reference?
Oh, I don't think so.
I
What's
well, how about just bleep the number?
Morpheus was the name.
Oh, Morpheus.
Yeah.
I guess it's a reference to the Mobius strip, maybe?
I don't know what that
Maybe I
is.
kept myself. Oh, that's the like weird twisty paper. Oh, you don't know what a Mobius strip? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is great. No. This I learned about this from like Zoom on PBS. Oh my god,
Okay.
it is gonna fuck you up. Well, you should absolutely make. They're super easy to make. And it oh man, I don't know. It just blew my mind as a
Oh.
kid.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize what the name of that was.
Yeah, I call it
But
the
it's like an
twisty paper
Escher,
thing.
like yeah.
Yeah, the fancy twisty paper
If
machine.
Escher created a yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just realized that this is my bad because I kept myself logged in on Skype in the studio computer, so that's on me because I'm at home and somebody
Mm.
is uh I can see their conversations happening and I feel real bad about it. So, Kathy, where can
Oh
people
dear.
find you on the internet?
You can find me at Mrs. Soup on most social media, and I am all my links out to stuff at kathycampbell.com, including links to my website where I do some consulting, and I have a book that can teach you how to hire help in your business at theunicornsidekick.com. And what about you, Alex? Where can people find you?
I
Other than visually at Supercomputer on the video podcast that you're doing now with Matthew
Oh,
Casanelli.
yeah. That's a thing that, man, I have been, okay, so I have been against video podcasts for almost a decade. How old am I? Oh god, I'm 28. Yeah, almost a decade. Like ever since Revision 3 like went down, I was like video podcasts are terrible. They're really hard to distribute independently. All of that is still true. But much like this is another conversation, but Justin, Mobius is talking to me again. But much like how I do genuinely understand how some people need to use Facebook because we are kind of in a digital, like some folks are in like the equivalent of a food desert digitally. I get that some people like where they live is YouTube. So you can see my face on YouTube. I don't know if I don't think we have youtube.com/supercomputer because like reasons and you need like a bunch of subscribers. So go subscribe there. It'll be in, can it be in the show notes, Kathy? You do everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
sure.
Yeah, thank you. Just it's I still encourage people to always download, like I really care about independent podcasting, especially on the eve of the Spotify acquiring Gimlet, but
Yeah.
I understand that like some people didn't grow up being a nerd. Even like my generation barely knows what RSS is. So, yep, the show is on YouTube. And I should say not just like like this show is also on YouTube, but like our faces are on YouTube. So it's a slightly different show. Yeah. And I was initially very uncomfortable with it, and then I don't know. It like I don't know. It ended up working. Or rather, like, not this episode in particular, but by the time this is out, there will be another episode and it'll be hopefully better. And yeah, it's a new thing I'm doing. So that was a long-winded way of saying just follow me on Twitter. I'm at Alex Cox, spelled COX, not the other way. And that's where I put all my bullshit.
Yay, bullshit.
And pictures of my cat. Oh no, I lied. Don't follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram, but more importantly, follow Mrs. Soup on Instagram because that is lit, as the children say. Oh my gosh. Like even just what you said of you haven't been on Instagram for a few days, but you posted your like you God. Yeah, it's, I don't know. It genuinely makes me happy every single day, and I've muted most Instagram stories except for like 5 people, and it just makes me so happy.
Oh, yay. I'm glad because it's been a form of self-care almost
Oh, that's so
to
great.
just us these last couple day like the last couple weeks, which listen to our previous episode on periods.
Yep.
Um, but like the PMS and like if I just post the sunrise, like I never look at it again. I don't save it anywhere. I just am like, this is letting me give a moment to say good morning to the world, even if it's I'm the only one that sees it, you know? And trying to just have that moment of, okay, we're good. Let's go.
Oh, I'm gonna go. I'm not allowed to cry on more than one podcast a week. And since I recorded something with Maddie where I cry, oh my god, that's so. That's, you know what? I'm gonna try that. And Kathy Campbell, I hope that you have been looking at the chimneys because you're so time constrained, but you deserve to look at the chimneys.
I don't have any chimneys around me, but I'll keep looking for them.
You have birds in Portland, right? Look at. Oh, exactly. It works for you because you actually have to look for chimneys.
Yes, exactly. They're not all there.
All right, Kathy Campbell,
right.
you have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, you too, Alex Cox. I love you
I
very
love
much.
you too. Bye.
Bye.